The new drums have arrived. Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for joining me. Just got back from 2 gigs in Cincinnati area, and it was fantastic with Mark Carr, Matt Carr, and Mike Carr. And we did a whole bunch of Sabbath stuff. In the first night, we had Melody Christie from Liliac come up and sing like 4 or 5 Dio songs, Heaven and Hell, and we did the long version, which I haven't played in years, where a little black shape looked down on me, a little white shape looked up on me, what Ronnie used to do, and it was fantastic. It was really good, and the great people of Ohio, everybody's so friendly. It's almost just like New York, I must say. People are so nice there. Not New York. And yeah, nice in New York too, but it's a little bit tougher place. And that little black shape looked down on me when we used to do that. Ronnie used to go and look at the light right in front of him, which was red like this. Do one of these, a little black shape looked down on me, and the light comes on. But I'll tell you something, when that light didn't come on, somebody was going to pay after the show. Most likely the light guy. Yeah. These drums are so easy to play. I'll tell you about them in a minute. So that's one of the stories behind that. And then the little white shape looked down on Ronnie, and the white light was supposed to come on. If that didn't come on, somebody was getting fired. And so we did that version. It was really cool, and we had a great turnout, and the people were so great there. You know, that's one of the areas in the U.S., the whole Midwest, we used to play in the 80s. Since in Ohio, Detroit, Chicago, all around there. And that whole area just rocked to hell. That was great. So, great rock area. I think I might have loosened this. And, I must tell you how comfortable the airline seats were, too. Fuck. Fantastic. You know, stupid me, what I did was I booked a flight going from San Diego San Diego Airport. I had to land in Atlanta, which I really like that airport. It's nice and modern. And then into Cincinnati. So I booked the flight. I booked 7 a.m., no problem. I had to get up at bloody 3:15 in the morning, get ready, drive down to the airport to be there about an hour and 15 before. So I was kind of shattered on the way there. And then we had a long rehearsal the next day. So we rehearsed with another singer, Tristan Bone is his name. And he was great. And we had to rehearse with him. And then Melody came down. We had to rehearse with her. So it was a very long day. And then we played 2 shows. And the second night was great. That was in another place. And after the show, the next day, I had to leave at 7 a.m. So I had to get up at 4:30, and take the 5 o'clock shuttle to the airport. Get there at 5:30, which gave me enough time to get on the plane and get something to eat. Got to eat when you're Italian. It's my eating theme. So another 7 o'clock flight on the way back, and I'll tell you, I'm sitting on those airline seats, and I think my tailbone was coming out my ears. The seats, you sit on them, and they just go down to nothing. You know, it's unbelievable. Next time I'll bring one of those hemorrhoid balloons. Sit on that. I think that's more comfortable. So, but great show, loved it, and thanks to Mike, and the band kicked ass, and it was a lot of fun. I love playing that old Sabbath stuff too. Played a lot of Mob Rules, Old Sabbath, a couple of Dio sprinkles in there. And it was great, really good. And that was the first time I played in 15 months. The last 15 months ago, I played in the same place. That was the last show. And the next day, in 2019, was it 1918? And the next day after the show, everything closed down. It almost got closed down on the day of the show. So, so it's been 15 months, you know, and, you know, when you're a musician that's been touring all your life, like me, you know, you got to go up and play. You don't want to go up and start just kicking ass, you know. All that stuff. You start like that, and, you know, your muscles tighten up, you know. So I was worried about that because I haven't played live. I've been doing this. This is easy, you know. Listen to that distortion. You know, and this is in my house, so this is just like a piece of cake. And so I was worried that, you know, can he play 90 minutes again? It's been a long time with that. So I was surprised. It all went well. The arms held up, the foot held up, and I held up. There was no weird cramps. There was no, you know, because I've been on shows where I started kicking so hard where sometimes the muscle in this left arm just going, no more. Yeah. And I'm like, you got to relax a little bit. So sometimes I'll do, you know, now I'm getting a cramp. So switch off like that to give it even that short of a break helps, you know. So knock on new wood. That didn't happen. So it was great. I'm going to do a GoFundMe for the airline seats initiative. Better airline seats for us. If we're going to make us one of those bloody masks, that was another fun thing, the bloody mask. And mine kept slipping down a little bit and coming over. Put the mask on your nose. I said, come on. Put on the nose, you know. Then when you get a drink, you got to take the mask off. So everybody's took the mask off. So what's the point, right? So you make the drink last 40 minutes, you know, and somebody comes by, you just drink. I'm drinking. Can't put the mask on and drink. And so anyway, that's the fun of traveling these days. So, and there's going to be more of it because all these gigs are coming up. In August, we got 2 Last in Line gigs back in Ohio. And I'm doing this, what is it, crypto thing, monster convention in, looks like at Kansas. So that's coming up next month. And then September, we got 4 or 5 shows with my brother Carmine. So that's cool. And then Last in Line. And what else? A couple of rock camps. So all of a sudden, everything's coming in. You can't sit on the couch anymore. Something I was doing before this exercise is this is actually a good exercise for your foot and the coordination between your hands and foot. So I'm just doing 2 and 2. 2 on the snare, 2 in the bass drum. And then singles. See, so it's I'll do it slower. Everybody at home should do this right now before dinner. Kidding. Pass. See, that's a good exercise. The reason why, because you're transitioning transistor from the doubles to the singles. Whenever you make a transition, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to, like, do this. Don't do this. nice and smooth. I love playing these drums. So let me tell you about the drums. This is the new set. It's not the big set yet because of all the crap going on with China and the shipping and this and that and this and that. And everything comes into Long Beach in California. And supposedly there's a line of ships just waiting to unload. So everything's delayed, sometimes 2 months, you know. So we're going to add another 10-inch here, which as you can see is going to be fun because there's not much room here. And then 3 toms, 3 rack toms, and then another floor, 16 floor. So I'll have, you know, 5 drums. So it'd be like this. Right? That's like the 10-inch is a good accent drum. I don't like 10. Sometimes I get on a kit, if it's a jam or some other thing, and there's a 10-inch drum, I go, hey! Who put that on there? I don't want a 10-inch drum. You know, I normally say, you know, I won't say it, but it's too small. When you're playing full up, you can't even hit the drum when you're really into it, this heavy stuff. It's so small, you know, it's like hitting a bongo to me. But I've seen some, you know, progressive drummers do amazing stuff with them, but that's not me. I'm Vinny, who just came home. All right, so I got these drums. These are all hickory. Remember I showed you the snares all along the way, and the snare drum was the hickory 6.5 inch or 6 inch, 6 inch, and these are the hickory drums, right? So what we wanted to show today was these drums are right out of the box. I didn't change the heads. These are the heads that actually come on these drums. And they are Remo, but they're a light kind of head. This is the only stuff they have in Japan to put on drums other than, you know, the sweet and sour skins or something, or that shit, you know, sound like paper. And you'll probably dent them. These haven't dented yet, just a little bit, you know. That's the way to test if they're dented. And so this is the stuff right out of the box, you know. And they're Remos. I usually use Evans, and Evans G2s are nice tone to them and nice and warm. And these are a little thinner head. So they sound good, but they probably won't last very long, you know. Bass drum, there's 2 heads on this. This is the way it came. You could see the sawtooth head there. That's white, Mr. White. So there's nothing in the bass drum. Listen to it distort. This is an engineer's nightmare, but it's rock and roll, you know. It's definitely a nightmare for engineers. You bring this in, well, it's rattling, it's rattling. It's rattling like that. But is it rattling like this? See what I mean? You don't hear the rattle like that. The way I figure it is, what do guitar players do? They don't play clean. They crank it so it's distorting, right? That's distorting. And to tell you the truth, I have no idea where it's coming from, which side. It could be the front. See, it's a little detuned. It probably stretch out a little bit because they're not strong heads. And I love it. So this is a nightmare. But even being a nightmare, my friend Angelo Arcuri, good buddy, he did all the Dio records, recorded them, did our sound. He said the drums, I put a little snippet on, I think a bunch of you guys saw that, just testing the drums. And he loved it. He said it sounded great, you know. So these drums are amazing. They sound, they're screaming, you know. Bass drum. I must say this effing bass drum is so loud. I don't want to curse. Chase is watching. Little Chase. I saw Chase at hello, Lala. Lala. So anyway, so this is wide open. These are the skins that come with the drums, and it sounds amazing. Tomorrow, Joe Fuco, who's actually he's on his way here. He owns the company, and his lovely wife Tanya, going to come over and stay a couple days. We're going to do some videos here, and we're going to play the drums like this. We're going to play the drums with the Evans heads on, and do a whole bunch of drum stuff. You know, it'll be fun, and also have some wine, which makes it even more fun. So we'll put that on online, of course. So this is wide open, like I said, you know. And it's just like one time we played BB King's. I think it was with Last in Line, maybe. And I had a bass drum like this. Nothing inside, two heads. And yeah, listen to that. Okay. So the sound man saw that and he, oh, this is not going to work. You can't mic it like that. I said, dude, just put the mic in front of the bass drum and let's do it, you know, get a level. The heck. So we did, and that night, just checking. That night, my brother was there, bunch of other drummers from the New York area. They said, man, the drums sounded killer. Bass drum was amazing. You know? So much for some of these guys. There's some great sound men, and then there's some that are too stuck in the ways of, well, we gate these. I always gate the drums. Really? Do all the drummers play the same? No. Like these two gigs, I said, you got gates on them? Yeah, turn them off. And if something is unmanageable, sometimes when they're off like that, and my bass drum's like this, there's some sort of hum or feedback. And you have to tune it out if you can, or gate it so it's not doing that. This is humming a little bit, but it's good. So this is what it sounds like out of the box, you know. And I tuned it a little bit, that they were tuned a little higher. And I start wanting to get the spread I always talk about. Like, that's a nice drop. Now you want the big guy. He means business. And then, so you got, you know. Tune them. This one might have loosened a little bit. They're all going to loosen a little bit. They just came here yesterday. Little chat. I don't know. Luckily, they didn't sit in the airline seat. So this is the new kit. It's going to be available. I don't know when exactly, but there's a link to the side there where you can click on there and get all the information about this kit. And the rims are really heavy duty. The holders are amazing. You've got a big wing nut on here. You can tighten it. It's not going to go anywhere, you know. And the upgraded feet on the legs of the floor, very heavy duty. This thing's not moving at all. Usually might tape it a little bit. This holding like a house, brick house. It's a brick house. I swear, this is so easy to play these drums. It's amazing. Love them. So check them out there, and then there's a 20% off of everything on the app. You know, you could check it out. I think that's on the side too. So so this is the new kit. I love it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is record with it. I didn't want to take down this. There's two different layouts in my studio here. One of them, the way the mics are plugged through a mixer board, which goes out into channel 1 and 2 from a Focusrite interface, which goes to the computer, because Facebook doesn't take anything other than 1 and 2. So you can't have 10 mics and 8 mics in these things and expect it to show up on Facebook. So it's got to go through 10 mics, got to be plugged into the mixer board. Out of the mixer board, left and right, into the port 1 and 2 of the Focusrite sound card interface, you want to call it. And that's the way it is. So so the next thing would be unplugging everything and putting it into the way it is for recording. So there's two different setups. And also, what do we got here? Let's see, what is down here? Remember those kiddie shows? Let's see what's in the surprise magic bag. And look at that. Dio. This was given to me and made by Jace, who I met in Ohio. Jace. Thank you, Jace. Oh, it's on both sides. I didn't realize that. Dio. Dio. This was made with one of these printing 3D machines. How cool. Makes me want to get one. See that? Dio. Very nice, Jace. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to paint the Dio so you can see it more. Paint the Dio. So we had a lot of fun there, and now I'm back in good shape. I tell you, thanks for watching this show, because this kept me going for has it been a year? It's coming up on a year of playing and keeping in shape. Otherwise, I would have been in sad shape. You know, you're sitting home for a year, you play somewhat. This makes me play. This makes me practice. And I've been doing some drum lessons and all this stuff, so this kept me in shape. Otherwise, I would have been there like this. Instead of... Okay. And I'd like to dedicate this show to my good neighbor, Brian. You guys met him on one of the shows. He was a Bobby, which is a police officer in London. And he's in the hospital. He's not feeling well. So we all wish him some positive thoughts. He was actually at the airport when the Beatles arrived home from America back in the day. The first time they went to America, they arrived back in London at the airport, Heathrow Airport. And Brian was a Bobby there, and he had to push the girls back. Some of the girls fainted. They have to lift them, all the whole thing. One girl even couldn't hold the bathroom thing and went on Brian.
Peed on him.
Peed on him. Ah, you said it.
I said it.
He's a good guy. We love him. And when the studio was closer to their house, they had to put up with this stuff. But he loved it. He could, no, no, don't stop. Don't stop. So, anyway. All right, let's take some questions, and then we'll tell you where we're going out to eat.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike said to tell the story of the treats that you bought for Liliac.
What did I buy?
Treats or something you bought for Liliac at their show for the shows.
Mike.
Mike said to tell
Nah.
the story.
Well, they had some snacks on the list, at the rehearsal. So we said, Mike mentioned that there's this place that sells lollipops with the scorpions in it and caterpillars and all that crap. And I thought it'd be funny to, like dressing room food, lay it out, and then there's these lollipops, So they came in, they were laughing and stuff, but I didn't realize they're vegetarians. So much for that.
No bugs.
No bugs, even though they're protein.
Well, it depends.
I wouldn't eat
Are they
this
an animal or
crap.
are they just a bug?
I don't know. They're just a bug. Okay.
Did you ever hear of silent sticks? They make the drum sound lower.
Never
Never.
would they bring that near me. Forget about it. I'll tell you a quick story. We did a rock camp at the Playboy Mansion, and the guest star was Steven Tyler, right? And there was like 300 people. No, I mean, in the party, it was at the grotto and the whole thing. They put a big tent up and the giant buffet. It was pretty cool. But they had the drummers play with those sticks that look like reeds. I don't even know what you call them. And then it was time for me to play. I said, I'm not using that shit. So I grabbed some sticks and I played. I didn't play hard because they had a neighbor problem. Believe it. That was at the Playboy Mansion, and they have a neighbor problem. So as soon as I did that, after I did that, all the drummers wanted to do that. And then they got police coming up and all that stuff. But I wasn't playing anymore. I was done. No, I don't play stuff that's lower. I'm pure rock, heavy, bass drum, distortion, ring. I'm the whole guy. That's me. Okay.
Are there any restrictions on what music Vinny can play with any of the bands?
All the bands I play with, there's no restriction. I play whatever I want. And if somebody makes a comment, hey, maybe you should do, I'll listen and try it, But I've been really fortunate to play with some great musicians. And Sabbath, I mean, I went and I played the old stuff that Bill Ward played, but I did copy some of his stuff. And then I put me on the rest of it. And back and forth, because I couldn't just duplicate Bill. Bill's got a different style than I do. He's a great drummer. He calls himself a percussionist, I'm more of a groove, Bonham kind of vein of drumming. So, and then Dio, of course, it was like whatever. You hear Holy Diver, you hear Phil's, when Ronnie's singing, you hear Phil's going over the singing. Ronnie didn't care, It was more of an inspiration. I didn't sit there and go, well, I'm going to play Phil over Ronnie's vocal. It's just inspiration, especially when you hear Ronnie's voice in your monitors. You go, oh, yeah, let's kill it, So there's a lot of rolls on Holy Diver and the Dio records. So there was no restriction. So I was lucky, And, I didn't play with somebody. Go, quiet. One time I did. I played the demos for the movie Rockstar. And played with this band. We rehearsed a couple songs. And we're working with this producer who shall be nameless, but he was a big producer. And he wanted me to play everything like that kind of shit. I went, okay, fine. And before that, we were playing just off the cuff, and the band loved it. I was playing my stuff. And then, which was more like that same beat would be. So we went from that to this really sterile version. And then Bud Carr, the head of Fox Music, comes in, and we played him each version. We recorded it. So we played him the first one with the sterile stuff. And he went, yeah, that's good. I said, but we got another version, Bud. oh, let me hear it. And we played him that with some groove in it and stuff, and he loved it. So that was the only time like really telling me what to play. So, and I'm open ears, man. Should always be open for ideas from somebody. Somebody has an idea. Sometimes you don't think of that. So next.
How do you play 2/4 or 4/4 groove without overplaying it?
Well, you feel it. First, you set up the groove. See, you set up the groove. Don't. I feel these fills, and if you notice, everything's steady. This is what I'm hearing. It's got to be steady. And it depends what song you're playing. If it's original, I get inspired hearing a song. Like I record a lot of things here in my studio from people I never met. That's called a session. And some of the chords strike me differently. I go, oh, that's cool. Maybe I should go. So you got to be inspired by listen to yourself play, get the groove, and feel what the song would need. And that's called playing in the song rather than playing on top of the song. A lot of drummers play on the top of the song, which they play, and then there's a fill going, the stock fills going in the chorus. I don't do that stuff. I like to get into the song. Okay.
What prep do you do before going out for shows, or is it all done at rehearsals?
What?
What prep, like preparation?
Oh, preparation. No. It's the rehearsals are for learning the song.
Right. But what do you do before that, like before you leave?
I use the bathroom and stuff.
Like at home.
I do. I like to be on empty when I go on stage, if you know what I mean. A lot of guys like that, not just me. That's a personal secret. No, I don't. Rehearsals are to learn the song. And Vivian Campbell can tell you, I don't play the songs the same every night. There's always some crazy stuff going on because I'm inspired playing with my band and all the bands I played with. So I don't do the same stuff so much, Some of it is, but a lot of stuff is inspirational. So, especially when it sounds good like this, the Space Drum. See, like that's a musical part. I'm playing like a riff. Boom, boom, bop, boom, 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 bop, boom, bop, a doom, boom, bop, boom, boom. It's like riff because I'm repeating it, And the hi-hat's open, giving it a different sound. See? See? It's all musical. Play like that. Okay.
Can you talk about slipping away from mob rules?
Slipping away! Yeah, that's like a cool beat to that song, which is the snare's not on 2 and 4 all the time. It's not. And it fit what Tony was playing. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And those are accents that I followed, do 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 ba da down ba 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 ba. So that's You know, but that's the beat. The beat is kind of like a Howlin' Wolf. There was an old blues uh, player, and there was a song. One of the songs had this beat. Actually, my brother showed me this beat a long time ago when I was a kid. See? So it's based on that kind of stuff. It's snare's not just 2 and 4, and nor is the bass drum. So it's kind of like a bass drum lead on that. So, okay, let's take a couple more questions.
Are there any VIPs happening with Last in Line?
Yes, we're gonna put them up soon. Everybody's asking that, so yes, there will be VIPs. Actually, I got to talk to Vivian tomorrow and sort out how we're gonna do it, because we want to be careful with that for everybody, for you guys and us guys. So, we want you to come in, and then we're going to stand like 25 feet back, so we're all safe. That's like going into Panda Express when the pandemic was going on. You walk, open the door, walk in, and there's a table. You can't go any further. And the girl's 10 feet back with plexiglass and a mask, and she goes, my hearing's gone. So I look at Lala. I go, what did she say? And she didn't know what she said. So if she doesn't know what she said, I don't know what she said. So she said, I go, what? She goes, I go, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? So then she winds up, taking the mask down and going to the side of this plexiglass, and then we could hear her, And then the guy behind me, when I was finished, I said, good luck. And he went in, and she had to do the same thing. It was so ridiculous. So no, we're gonna make it happen. So stay tuned on the website.
Any funny stories about fans on the airplanes?
About fans on the airplanes?
Like if you ever fans that came up to you or something?
Yeah, you know what? I think it was flying Southwest, and getting on the plane. I'm sitting there, and then one of the workers comes up. He goes, man, I got your sticks. Can you sign these? I go, how'd you know it was me? He goes, I saw your name tag on the luggage. I went, holy crap. So signed the thing. And then I'm wondering, I wonder if he took the sticks from my bag. But he didn't. So so I signed them for him, and not that much, They don't know who I am. Unless I had drums on the plane. Then they'd know. Okay, let's take one more question.
What is the groove you are playing on Sacred Heart during the second verse?
From what I remember, it's just a straight groove. Straight. Second part. Something like that, from what I remember. I was following what the riff was. The first part of it's straight, boom, boom. Bass is just doing that, boom, 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 bang, boom, boom, bang. Yeah. So where are we going to eat? Well, what's happening is Joe's coming over here, Joe Fuco, who owns Sawtooth Drums, and his lovely wife, Tanya, and Lala, and we're going to go to Italian food. Right. Hey, that's grooving. And the bass drum takes up so much room, it's almost like a bass. Wish I can remember this stuff. It's you guys. You're inspiring me. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go. You know. Anyway, thank you very much, and join me next week. I'll be back. I'm still in town for a little bit, and I don't know. Maybe we'll have the extended kit. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll have the other heads on it. It sounds pretty damn good. So remember, this is the Hickory, the whole kit. This is the more expensive kit, and it just sounds amazing. I'm blown away by the sound of these drums. Stock heads on them, and this is what they sound like. Upgraded mounts, upgraded lugs, the whole thing, the rims, everything. It's a very, very strong kit. I can't wait to use it live. And it's louder than the other kit. You know? Okay, so join me next week and we'll have another hang together, because that's what we're doing. And we're hanging together. Am I forgetting anything? No. Be safe. Be good. Yeah. And wear ear protection. Safe drumming. Otherwise, you wind up like me. And you go into Panda Express, you can't hear anything. So, all right. So I'll see you next week, guys. Thanks again. Rita, enjoy your new TV set in Colorado. She said she's watching from Colorado.
Oh, yeah, she's in Colorado.
She's in Colorado.
Yeah.
We're like a family here. Everybody tunes in. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Especially Matt Carr. He's just really something, him. So, okay. Thank you, guys. I'm going to play a little bit.